My name is Susan Hines, and it's a pleasure to be with you tonight. And I'm here to talk about a career in care. Like you, I'm a mum. I have 8-year-old twin girls. Sorry, bear with me a moment. Here we go. So I've got 8-year-old twin girls who are on their way to bed as I speak. And I'm also a care team manager with Anglicare at home. I oversee our amazing community care team and more than 200 care staff in the northern area of Sydney, including our care team who operate in the Northern Beaches. My own career, aside from a few deviations along the way, has been focused on care and the community care service sector broadly, and care has really woven a thread through my career. We know for a lot of our recent applicants that many new staff are coming from sectors that have suffered some instability. And for so many people, there's a real want to be engaged in meaningful work and work with local community. Work where you can have an opportunity to learn and develop and be inspired. For a lot of mums who might have taken time out of careers and found themselves in a position to reevaluate future career direction, a career in care can tick so many boxes, from flexibility to meaningful work-life balance and work that's diverse and rewarding because it's essentially about being with people and making a difference in people's lives. We're also increasing the services we provide to clients with new aged care packages being released by the government, and we're actively recruiting staff in the Northern Beaches area. For those who have joined us, you too might be in a position where you're reevaluating your career direction, and perhaps you've wondered what a career in care might look like. I hope tonight's live gives you insights and information that you need to help you to weigh up whether a career in care might be for you, and if so, to help you make that leap. To begin, I'll tell you a little bit more about me and I guess some of the interesting places a career in care has taken me, and I will talk in much more detail about what it means to become a member of a team delivering professional home care services. So we have up to an hour available for tonight's live, and if there aren't too many questions, I'll probably be winding up the content a little bit, possibly before the hour. So feel free to add any questions or comments into the comments section, and I'll do my best to answer them as I go. For anyone who visits after the live event, if you do have any questions that come up, feel free to private message Northern Beaches Mums with your question, and be sure to leave your email address so that I can come back to you. So my own career in care started when I was 19, and at university I was studying English and communications, and at the time my mum was working in home care. So I applied for a role and I went into the office of a local home care agency where I was given a box of gloves and some sanitizer, and I was given a roster of clients whom I'd visit over the next week. And I'm so pleased to say that the training we give our care staff at Anglicare has come a long way since when I started in home care. And so that first week for me in home care was absolutely terrifying, and it became clear to me really quickly that I absolutely loved it. Working with clients in the community really has a way of getting under your skin in a good way, and I hear care staff say that time and time again. If it's the kind of work that suits you, it can become really difficult work to leave. So despite that my own studies were in a completely different field, I stayed in care work alongside other work on and off for the next decade. So my care work was with young people with disabilities, providing a range of services for older people, people with a palliative condition, dementia, or a chronic health condition in my local area. From care work, I applied for a role in service coordination in a service for carers. So the service supported people who'd taken on a caring role for a family member or a friend. And I learned just how much resilience is needed when you're caring for someone and how important it is to have a solid network of support. And that can be actual hands-on support and emotional support when you're caring for a loved one. My workplace supported me with a range of training, including in palliative care, advising and managing staff. When a role came and took on my first people management role with a small team responsible for a team of around 20 multidisciplinary staff. And the program was federally and state funded, and we had projects for young carers and carers of young people with disabilities, carers of older people and people living with dementia. Um, in that role, I learned a lot about reporting to government departments and managing budgets. The program had millions of dollars that we were able to deliver through services to clients every year. My next role was a people management role with a community sector training organisation. And there I managed a group of trainers and project managers, and I consulted with organisations around and across the sector to develop training that met the needs of their staff. While I was there, I completed a diploma in leadership and management. And it was around that time that I became a mum to my twin girls. When my girls were 2, we made the decision to relocate, quite a big decision, for a period of time to Cambodia. And in Cambodia, in the prevention of sex trafficking. Workers and education support officers who were working with rural communities and really rural communities. So the travel to those communities was on motorbikes, and we'd go out into the communities and provide community education and assistance to families to support them to keep girls in school. And I guess in that context, being in education was one of the biggest protective factors for girls. When my girls were 4, we moved back to Australia, and I made the decision to take my knowledge of operations management, program management, and people management back to the aged care sector, in a sense, coming full circle to where I began. And I moved into my care team manager role with Anglicare. I wanted to share my own career pathway with you to demonstrate that a career in care can open up so many opportunities where transferable skills are valued and can be taken into a diverse range of roles. Experiences I gained in direct care roles was a typical day as a home care worker. Home care services exist to provide both everyday and vital types of assistance to clients in the community. At Anglicare, our work with older people who are either living independently at home, so they're independent at home, or perhaps they're supported by family or a spouse or friends or neighbours. One of the great things about working as a home care worker is the flexibility in hours and the variety of scenery. You're out and about in the community. You're not stuck in an office working 9 to 5. And each day can look really different depending on the clients that you're seeing. So one day you might take a client shopping or help prepare their meals. Another day you might help with some light cleaning or providing a personal care service. Some services for clients are purely for social support, and that could mean going out into the community with a client or engaging the clients in their own homes through activities or conversations. Our home care workers really do make a big difference in the lives of the clients they see. Sometimes care workers will provide a one-off service to a client, but generally we try and give them some regular clients so that they're building a good relationship with the clients, and they might see them weekly or maybe a couple of times a week. Our staff also assist clients to manage medication, and again with personal care, so that might be showering assistance, to attend medical appointments by providing transport and access to the community, whether that's for social outings or other appointments. So who are our clients at Anglicare? I guess I like to think of our clients as a cross-section of the community. And as such, they come from a range of backgrounds, religions, cultures, and experiences. At Anglicare, we assist clients who are over 65 and who have services through either the Commonwealth Home Support Program, which caters to a lower level of care need, or through the Home Care Package Program. So home care packages are really individualised to suit the client, and they cater to levels 1 through to 4. So as we move from level 1 through to level 4, there is increased funding available, and the packages are able to cater to a higher level of care need. So what do clients has their own goals and identified services? But one thing I'd say is common to all is to receive assistance with some of the everyday. And clients really want to stay independent in their own homes for as long as possible. All of our clients have a care plan that outlines the goals they want to achieve through the assistance that they receive. And our clients want the people coming into their homes to be trustworthy and honest and capable and relatable. At Anglicare, we honour the unique rhythm of life of each of our clients. Clients really want services to fit into their lives. So how do you apply for a job with Anglicare? If you visit Anglicare's website and you visit the careers section and you search for home care worker, you'll see a range of positions in a range of areas, and we are recruiting in the Northern Beaches at the moment. So you'll see home care worker positions for the Northern Beaches. So if you go to jobs.anglicare.org.au, then you'll see the listing of positions available. A lot of people come to us asking what kind of qualification they might need to be able to do care work. We're currently able to offer our home care workers the opportunity to complete a Certificate 3 or a Certificate 4 in aged care. These qualifications provide you with relevant practical and theoretical knowledge to aid your work in the aged care industry. Staff also have access to Anglicare's scholarship program, which can provide support to attain a qualification. So what is the process of applying for a qualification through Anglicare? We currently offer the option to study a Certificate 3 or 4 in aged care to all of our home care workers when they commence work with us. You just see a question there from Nancy, is there part-time work available? Absolutely, there is part-time work available. And I will be talking about, I guess, the ways it can be really flexible and suit a lot of people in a lot of different situations. So the qualifications that we offer are through TAFE, and Anglicare covers the cost of studying. We've had great feedback from the cohorts of staff undertaking qualifications about the relevance of their learning and the ability to implement it without delay into their work with clients. So what is the time investment to study the aged care qualification? A Certificate 3 takes approximately 12 months to complete, and staff attend online weekly classes, and a Cert 4 will take a bit longer, moving up towards 18 months. One of the great things is the ability to complete your placement, also being paid for your placement hours. I think a lot of people want to know about when they're coming into an organisation is what kind of training is offered to help you be prepared for the role. As you commence with Anglicare, you participate in an induction program. Unlike me when I started in home care, the box of gloves and the roster, our training is really, really comprehensive. So we do have a 7-day induction program that all new staff undertake at commencement. And there's a range of topics that you would learn about in that induction, and they include things like medications management, clinical care, treating people with respect and dignity, following safety principles, documenting client care, assisting clients, caring for a client's home, self-care, which is such an important topic for anybody who is in the caring industry, cultural diversity, and dementia, and other topics. In addition to the induction, the days in theory, we have buddy days and practical learning. So 2 of the training days, that means that you would be supported by an experienced clients. So what that gives is a really great opportunity for staff to learn in a supported environment, and for some people, if say for example it's the first time that you're providing personal care for somebody, you're not doing that on your own, and there's also the chance to debrief afterwards. So our induction program has contribution from workplace trainers, our palliative care team, allied health, our allied health teams and nursing team, dementia advisory, and all of those teams are involved in the induction and the training. So we working closely with our clinical care team allows us a wide scope to ensure quality care is being provided by our care staff at every service. A lot of people come into care wanting to know what career paths are available. At Anglicare, we stand apart from some other providers in that we really invest into our care staff, and career paths are certainly there for anybody who wants to pursue them. Some examples of career paths include staff who've been supported to attain their Certificate 3 or 4 in ageing. Some staff undertake a diploma in case management and move into case management roles within Anglicare. Staff who demonstrate excellent client care might be approached and trained to become buddy trainers for our newer care staff. Other pathways for staff who are interested in training and management include pathways to become a workplace trainer. A group of care team leaders, I would say the majority have actually come from a care worker role and been developed and supported to be able to step into a management role supporting other care staff. We're a large organisation with 4,000 staff and 2,000 volunteers. So there are a range of other areas in Anglicare that we can support staff to grow into. And some of those other areas include community services, residential care, work in our social and wellness centres, counselling programs, food and financial assistance, and our Anglicare shops, to name a few. So the hours, coming back to Nancy, your question about part-time work, the hours are definitely flexible. So for somebody who's a mum or who maybe is currently studying, care work is something that you can fit around those other responsibilities. We do ask staff to work a minimum of 3 days a week, but the hours can be young children or students studying at university who are. Our clients do generally need services between. We implement flexible hours for our staff within this time frame. When I was studying at university, I worked part-time as a home care worker, and the flexible hours really suited me. I could get my textbooks out and study for an hour or so between clients, which worked really well. So support and training. And I guess the culture is something that people want to know about when they're coming into an organisation. So for us, collaboration and support is really a big part of our culture. Our home care workers have a dedicated team leader who they can speak with freely about their care work and any additional support they might need. Our home care workers usually have a call with their team leaders every week, and they meet face to face once a month. And that might be in an office or at a cafe or out in the community. And the idea is that they get together, have a cup of coffee, and just chat about how things are going and where they might need some extra support. At Anglicare, we have a team of workplace trainers who develop. So this could be through e-learning programs, coaching. No, you don't need a qualification in care work if you're coming to us. But if it's something you're interested in, we will certainly support you to attain a qualification. So in addition to the induction training and some of the other training topics that we have and the qualifications, we also provide essential annual reviews and training in key topic areas. And because these are topic areas that we might be updating content and they're I guess key areas in terms of our work with clients. So they're things like infection control, manual handling, medication management, clinical care, and food safety. In addition, we provide one-to-one coaching. So the qualified and experienced workplace trainers support staff in work situations and assist them with service assessments to improve the care that we provide to our clients. Claire, your question there is, what is your favourite part of the job? Look, I think if I think back to care work, I guess my favourite parts of the job are just really connecting with clients. Once you have the opportunity to really build trust with clients, I think they will open up to you and share their stories with you and share lives with you. And some of those stories are so rich. And I will share a couple of my own stories as well from care work. What qualities make a good home care worker? That's a good question, Joanne. I think having a genuine care for others and a heart for people and the ability to build relationships and make people feel comfortable are also important in care work. Our staff generally interact with a few different people over the course of a day. And I guess, quite often those services can be quite personal. And if we think about, if somebody was assisting us with a shower, we'd really want that person to be making us feel comfortable. Another good quality to have as a home care worker is, I think, the ability to recognise how you can help to empower somebody. And we encourage our staff not only to help their clients by doing for them, but to find ways that they can help them to maintain those things that they are able to do. So sometimes this might be about actually doing some tasks together rather than doing for. I think some of the other qualities that are great for care staff to have is a willingness to learn. And increasingly, we are asking our staff to use Microsoft Teams. We have different apps that we use, and those platforms help to promote the efficiency of what we're doing and good communication. Staff also submit progress notes relating to their client services. So we really rely on good observation skills and feedback from our care staff. We also provide full training to all new staff on using those apps and their smartphones. So just to come back to Claire's question about what are my favourite parts, and I guess in answering that, what I think about is some of the really rewarding moments in working in care work. And for me, when I think of that, I do think back to my direct care work, my direct client work, and two clients in particular. So I'll just share two stories. And one was a client I had started working with. And this client was from a Polish Jewish background, and she herself was a Holocaust survivor. And initially, I was providing a personal care and social support service. So it was a respite service for the family carers to give them a break. And I'd come in and support her with her shower. And and she really wanted to spend the social support part of the service chatting. So we'd talk, and over the first few services, we got to know each other, and over the those initial weeks, we really just built up trust. And in providing a service one day, she started talking to me about her time during the war years and her experiences through the Holocaust. And her daughter came home and she caught part of the conversation. And at the end of the service, I went to speak with her, and she was quite emotional. And she said to me, her mum is had never really shared those stories with anybody. And I asked her if she thought it might be too upsetting for her to do that, because I could try and perhaps redirect the conversation to steer it to somewhere else. And she said, let me think about it. And I went away and I came back to provide the next service. And she took me aside and she said, actually, Susan, in thinking about it, Mum, I think Mum needs to do this. She said, I think it's cathartic for her. And as our services went along over the next couple of months, really, we'd go through that same routine. So I'd help her with her shower, and we'd sit together, and she'd tell me different stories again about her time through the war years, leading up to her coming to Australia and bringing her family, bringing up a family in Australia. So I think that particular client has really stayed in my mind. And I think for me, that shows, I guess, what can come from a trusting, caring relationship. The other story is one that I shared partly in the ads for the live event. And that is, sorry, Jimmy, just to let you know, absolutely we do accept male applicants for carers. The answer to that is yes. So the second story I wanted to share with you is one that is, again, where I was providing actually a live-in care service. So in this situation, the lady I was supporting had been cared for by her husband at home, and he had a health incident and he needed to be hospitalised. I was providing a live-in service over a number of days. So the first day, again, was really about getting to know her and building that relationship. And I think it was day 2 when we went out for a walk, and where she lived was by an ocean pool. And she said to me, I think I'd like to go for a swim. And it was warm weather. It was summer at the time. And I thought, oh, I'm not sure about that. And we carried on with our day, and she kept mentioning it. She kept saying, I think I'd like to go for a swim. So I got on the phone and I called my care manager, and I let her know that my client wanted to go for a swim. And she said, oh, I'm not sure about that either. And she actually called the client's daughter, who was her contact for the services, and she let her know that our client was wanting to go for a swim. And the client's daughter had said, well, it's been probably 5 years since she's gone out swimming. She did swim a lot previously in her life, and she said, if your care staff is confident about doing that, and I'd sort of swum competitively myself for a number of years, so I thought, I'm absolutely confident doing that. So we did. We organised it. We got organised. We went down to the ocean pool, and I think I was probably, taking my time to get organised, and she had the clothes off, and cozies and she did a belly buster into that ocean pool. And I won't forget her face as she came up out of that water. She just had such joy on her face. And again, for me, that's the rewarding moments of care work. I think I really had a sense of who she was in that moment, and I could see that she was connecting to something that she loved and that really brought her joy. Question from Marie: do I have any tips for anyone who might be caring for someone at home in an informal capacity? I definitely do, and I would say, particularly from my work with carers, that I would say reach out for support where you can. I think it's so important to maintain those aspects of who you are as a person and those things in life that give you strength, because a caring role, depending on who it is you're caring for, and most people do it because they're caring for somebody that they love, and it's important for them to be able to do that. But I think it also takes energy. So we need to be able to find ways to I guess, recharge that energy. And sometimes that might be about how to do. I think if it's not friends or family, great information for carers, education for carers. I know we used to do things like carer retreats, and I think sometimes just connecting with other carers who are experiencing the same thing can make such a difference. So I would say reach out, and respite services are there. So they're there exactly to give carers a bit of a break. What kind of backgrounds do our care staff have? At Anglicare, we really embrace diversity of background and work or life experiences of people interested in becoming care workers. So we're prepared to retrain and upskill people to fulfill their dreams to work with older clients. We're prepared to give options and hope to people in the current economic climate as it's been impacted by COVID-19. And for our new employees, there's really peace of mind that they'll receive ongoing training and support. So we really recognise existing work skills and life experience and the ability to connect with people. So acknowledging that some formal training is essential, and we provide this through a paid formal induction program prior to commencing. But really, I think, having a heart for this kind of work is so important. So while the main parts of the role are client facing, yes, there is a smaller administrative component to the role. So our care staff, in some cases, might be the only people going into the home of a client for an extended period of time. And we saw this particularly during COVID, when families perhaps needed to stay away to keep their loved ones safe. And so there might have been periods of time where our care staff were the only people visiting clients. And in those times, it's so important that there's documentation around the services and collaboration with the other teams at Anglicare that might be needed, just to make sure that we're giving clients all of the assistance that they need. So our staff submit progress notes that are sent to care advisors, and in Anglicare's context, our care advisors are the case managers for our clients. Progress notes can also be for the purpose of sharing key information with other care staff. And an example of this could be that, I might submit a progress note to say that a client that I was visiting had really enjoyed a particular activity during the service. And that might actually be helpful to some of the other staff who attend a future service with that client. The other key documentation is around safety. So because clients' homes are essentially the workplaces of our staff, we need to look out for the safety of our staff and our clients alike. So our care staff work with our clients to remove any hazards that they might encounter in clients' homes, and that could be things like a trip hazard. And they also submit hazard reports through our care app. And in that way, we're able to connect in with the care advisors and families to work to remove or reduce those hazards. Staff also need to report any incidents in their work. So there is an administrative component to the care role. Is there collaboration between home care workers? Care work can be a very independent working environment in that you're not working alongside others or in a team environment for the majority of the time. For this reason, we've built in supports and contact points so that care staff are able to collaborate with other teams and with each other. We have a 6-weekly peer support meeting for care staff, where staff have the opportunity to share de-identified client challenges and successes, and it's actually lovely to see when we have newer members of the team bring some of those challenges that they're experiencing in their work. And we'll have some of our team members who may have been in a caring role for 10 or 15 years who are able to offer such a great range of suggestions based on what's worked for them with their own clients and through their experience. We have care staff who contribute their expertise to various working groups. And at the moment, we've got committees of care staff who are working with their teams to create action plans around specific staff engagement activities. So we really look for opportunities for care staff to collaborate and meet with other care staff. In the current context, and particularly at the moment, a lot of people want to know, I guess, what the impact of COVID is on care services and how do we protect clients and care staff. We provide our staff with all of the necessary PPE, so gloves, masks, sanitizer, aprons, and I guess that's probably the more specific COVID PPE, but there's also a whole range of other PPE, shoe covers, and other equipment items. And currently, at the moment, all care staff are wearing masks in every client service, and team leaders are making sure that care staff have an ongoing supply. We have a COVID screening process which care staff carry out with the residents of a client's household at the beginning of every service and prior to entering into the home for the service. Our screening process doesn't put our care staff in danger when anyone in the home has potential symptoms or has had contact with a suspected case or has attended a notified venue or a hotspot. In many cases, we will actually require our clients or somebody in their home to return a negative COVID result before being able to resume services. And I guess on the flip side of that, our care staff are also required to report any potential symptoms, to stay at home if they're not well. If they're not well, we do require our staff to have a COVID test and to be symptom-free prior to returning to work. What are some of the benefits connected to the care worker role? I guess alongside flexible hours, permanent part-time care staff at Anglicare have all of the benefits like accruing annual leave, access to parental and maternity leave, along with other leave types. At Anglicare, we pay our care staff for their travel time and for the kilometres that they travel in the course of their work. We provide job security by offering permanent part-time care worker positions with a base roster so that staff can predict what their take-home pay will be. And we're also able to offer salary packaging. So salary packaging allows you to pay for certain expenses such as your mortgage or rent and other everyday living expenses before income tax is calculated. And that applies to a percentage of the earnings so that you pay less tax and the result is that you have more money to spend. So the types of support that our care staff receive. At Anglicare, we're committed to ongoing support for our care staff, and all staff receive regular paid opportunities to learn from other staff in the team. So that might be in the context of team meetings, so team leader, face-to-face meetings, all are paid, and we have 24/7 phone access to our central support team and access to workplace trainers for any other additional on-the-job training. So, for example, if we had a member of a team who might be having difficulty in a particular client service, our workplace trainers will actually go out with them to the service with our client's permission and have a bit of a look at what's happening. And sometimes it might just be that care staff need some more information about a particular aspect of a client's care so that they can then provide it with confidence. What advice do I have for anybody who's interested in pursuing a career in home care? My advice would be, if you're looking at organisations, also have a look at the opportunities that are available in those organisations, and to get a real understanding of the values and the ethos of the organisation that you're approaching. I think for myself, I'd want to know about the support that's available to me in my role and the learning opportunities that are available to me. I think if you're interested, I'd say to get in contact with an organisation's recruitment department who'll be able to answer any of those initial questions you might have, and who can even get you in contact with staff and managers in the care programs who can give you even more specific information. So again, to apply for a home care worker role with Anglicare, you need to visit our website. So that's you, and look for home care worker, and you'll see the home care worker listings. At the moment, we are recruiting across the greater Sydney area and definitely in the Northern Beaches. So that's about all of the content I have for tonight's live. So I'd love to be able to answer any other questions. If anybody has any questions they want to pop into the comments before I finish up, I'd be more than happy to answer them. And I guess if there aren't any further questions, and for anybody who does open the live link later on, if you do have a question or something occurs to you later, please feel free to PM the Northern Beaches Mums group with your question and your email address, and I will come back to you. So a big thank you to everybody who's joined in. I hope tonight's session has been informative and let you know a little bit more about what a career in care might look like. And if it's something that you've been considering yourself, I hope that's helped to answer some of those questions for you and perhaps even prompt you to approach Anglicare or a care provider about becoming a member of a care team. So thank you very much for joining tonight's live.